Hi, this is Elisa. If you don't know who I am, please check out my website at elisarobin.com and check me out on KUHS Denver, the stream. I am a radio host there. And you can also find me on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. So, who am I? I am an astrologer, a psychologist, somebody hoping to give you some tips and some hints. And partly, I have to say, I'm also talking to myself. What happens to me every day is I go for this long walk and I get this moment of inspiration and I just want to share it. And what happened today is really funny. I started to record a video before and I realized that I was spending more time looking at myself since the beginning of 2020 than I'd ever done. And every time I look at myself, I see all the flaws. And I realized that that's perhaps what life on the loose pulls us away from. I mean, think about it for a moment, right? If all I do is look at myself and I focus on my flaws and how I don't fit in and how I'd look or how I should be thinner or fatter or taller or shorter or, whatever, not have blue streaks in my hair that you can't quite see. If that's all I see and that's all I focus on, I'm missing the broader picture of life. I'm not focused on my soul's craving and how that adds to the world. I'm not on a spiritual journey. I'm on a narcissistic journey, just focused on me. It's like when you first, I remember this, it'd be the beginning of the season, the summer season in California, and I'd be walking on the beach and back when I wore bikinis, and I'd be feeling naked. And I was with one of my dear girlfriends and said, "Do you feel naked?" She goes, "Yeah, it goes away. Don't worry. Nobody's looking at us." But when we spend all our time looking at ourselves, we think the rest of the world is too. And that makes our individual choices about our life path so much more difficult. We assume that every choice we make, every change, every opportunity we embrace is being looked at and judged and evaluated by the entire world. Now, it might be being looked at and evaluated and judged by our family or our tribe or our social group, but really not the entire world. And maybe not even as much as we think. Which leads me to part two. This is what sort of hit me over the last several months. That each of us, not all of us, but many of us do have a closet. And for some people, that closet is really terrifying to come out of, and I understand that. And for some of us, the closet may not be quite as scary, but we still at some point have to come out. I remember the day, honestly, on international radio that I came out as somebody who's an empath, who can channel, who can do healing work with my hands. I was an academic dean, for gosh sakes. I have all these academic degrees, and here I was saying, I'm an astrologer, and I read crystal balls. It was a coming out. It was an owning of myself. It may not sound like a huge coming out, and I completely acknowledge that there are ways it's much harder for other people, and kinds of coming out that are, oh my God, so much more difficult. I completely acknowledge that. This was mine. Acknowledging who I am, acknowledging that I live on the loose, taking responsibility for that, taking care of myself with that, honoring and respecting myself, and then also realizing the rest of the world isn't actually looking at me. That I don't have to justify that to the rest of the world, because most of the world doesn't care. Those two things came together for me. We spend too much time focused on ourselves and our intimate details. And then owning ourselves becomes so much more difficult because we're sure everyone else is looking at us in the same way. I wonder if that makes sense to you. You know how sometimes it makes perfect sense in your head, but it just doesn't come out of your mouth in a great way? I would like if you took those two ideas. Are you spending too much time looking at yourself on the screen, on the computer, in the mirror, in your head, whatever it may be? And are you ready to come out of your own closet for yourself and embrace your soul's journey? Are you ready? Do you understand that it might upset some people, but then again, it might not? You might lose a place in one tribe and find another. You might realize that neither of those tribes were ever yours, and there's somewhere else you're headed. I would love your feedback on this. I really would. So, again, catch me on KUHS Denver, the stream. You can just go to kuhsdenver.com. Every other Thursday, 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, the Dr. Lisa Show. You can watch the reruns of that. You can catch it. I post it on my website, and I also post it on YouTube. But if you'd love to catch me, you can also find me live on Facebook every other Thursday, 11 a.m., the Dr. Lisa Show. Chat with me. I do love that when I'm on the radio. Talk to you soon, and please let me know your thoughts, okay? Until I see you again, let that little flame that's been ignited inside you stay ignited.